And who's this new girl in town? Dari mana dia ni? Tiba-tiba datang daripada Indonesia. So I would stand there in the morning. Every 9 o'clock is like a ritual before going to college, and I would like take in the energy of the greenery around me and the fresh air.
Saya rasa people call saya masa sekolah-sekolah rendah dulu dah taiko.
Selamat datang ke The Sus Talk, podcast yang akan memberikan anda food for thought atau makanan minda anda tentang kelestarian dan e-waste. Okey, dalam setiap episod kami akan membawakan pandangan baru dari guest-guest yang berbeza dan pemikiran yang positif untuk membantu anda untuk hidup lebih hijau, lebih lestari ke arah dunia yang lebih green dan lebih evergreen, yang forever and ever lah orang cakap. Okey, so saya Sam, host anda yang terpaling lestari. Okey, dan hari ni saya bersama co-host saya. Kalau ingat lagi, beliau adalah pemenang pencarian host bintang pentin tahun 2011. Betul tak?
Betul Sam, tapi itu dah lama dah, tahun 2011. Terima kasih Sam sebab sudi menjemput saya jadi co-host pada hari ini. Dan again Sam, tagline kita hari ini, something green, something given.
Betul.
Yang mana kita akan bawakan tetamu-tetamu yang istimewa, yang berkaliber dalam bidang masing-masing untuk mereka berkongsi mengenai green initiative, yang mana setiap perkongsian tu ya Sam, pastinya akan memberikan kita manfaat kepada kita semua ya Sam.
Betul. Kita cakap every little things we do in life, dia akan bagi big impact to the world.
Betul.
Okey, dan untuk hari ni, special episode sempena International E-Waste Day yang akan disambut pada setiap 14 hari bulan Oktober pada setiap tahun. Kita bawakan anda dua individu yang sangat berbeza, berlainan background, different way of thinking, tapi diorang mempunyai matlamat yang sama untuk bumi yang kita sayangi ni.
Betul Sam. Dan tetamu yang kita akan berkongsi buah fikiran ni, pengalaman, idea dia bernas untuk kelestarian yang kita cari sepanjang masa ni Sam. Jadi hari ni kita nak duduk santai dan join perbincangan menarik kita di Sus Talk.
Betul.
Sus Talk. Mungkin
Tapi
saya boleh
sebelum
tahu
tu,
lah Sam, kenapa Sus Talk tu?
Sus Talk ni sebenarnya adalah kita punya talk ni berkisarkan kepada sustainability. So mungkin tengah-tengah tu kita selitkan something yang suspicious, kita boleh gali daripada kita punya guest. Okay. Husna, kita punya podcast ni dibawakan oleh inisiatif kita, oleh MC-MC yang bukan sahaja memberikan kesedaran tentang kepentingan untuk pengurusan e-waste secara berhemah, tapi juga menyediakan platform yang holistik, yang end-to-end kita cakap, untuk rakyat Malaysia kita semula melalui lebih 140 drop point yang kita ada dekat seluruh Malaysia, termasuk kita ada dekat Kuching, dekat Miri, dekat Kota Kinabalu. Orang Jawa cakap end-to-end lah, end-to-end solution.
Hebat orang Jawa end-to-end solution.
Gitu.
Okey lah Sam, kita tengok tetamu kita pun dah lama menunggu. Jadi apa kata kita kenalkan tetamu kita hari ni yang sangat sinonim sebagai aktivis HAM kita dan juga mungkin green lifestyle juga ya Sam.
Betul, dan bukan tu saja Husna, she is our filmography sweetheart, our lovely Pontianak, and the one and only Maya Karin.
Hi guys.
Hello Maya, how are you?
Maya?
A little bit tired, tapi tak apa, I'm here.
Thank you for joining us Maya.
Tetamu kedua kita pula Husna, kita ada Tuan Noor Yusazli Yusoff, seorang yang sangat berwawasan, sangat luas pengalaman dia dalam bercakap dan menyampaikan berkenaan dengan sustainability, dan juga pengalaman beliau in a C-suite positions dekat pelbagai syarikat di seluruh dunia, Fortune 500 companies, seorang profesional speaker yang sangat aktif di dalam dan luar negara. You name it, negara-negara mana, Arab Saudi dia pernah pergi, UAE dia pernah pergi, Kuwait, US, UK. Husna, ada lagi, cuba you tambah lagi.
Selain daripada itu kan Sam, Cik Yus juga dia pernah juga berkhidmat dengan Gegasi Oil and Gas Malaysia, Petronas. Dan bukan sahaja merantau untuk advokasi, tetapi juga dah menetap lama di luar negara seperti yang saya maksudkan tadilah. Dan telah kembali semula ke Malaysia Cik Yus untuk lebih agresif dalam menyampaikan buah bicara, idea dan menggalakkan lagi rancangan pembangunan mengenai alam sekitar. Dan kita dapat lihat juga hari ini pengurusan e-waste, teknologi hijau, sirkular ekonomi, pasaran karbon dan berbagai agenda lain ya Cik Yus.
Kalau nak sebut semua ni, I rasa habis 1 jam kita go through pencapaian kedua-dua tetamu kita ni je Husna kan?
Betul.
So thank you kepada kedua-dua tetamu kita yang sudi meluangkan masa untuk berkongsi hari ni. Everything all for the earth and the people, the masyarakat kan?
Betul Sam, kita juga nak santai-santai juga hari ni. Kalau boleh saya address Maya, Encik Yus, Cik Yus, are you guys okay with that, ya?
Kita go straight to the first segment, Something Green. Untuk segmen pertama podcast kita ni, Cik Yus, Maya, kita akan tanya semua tetamu kita apa yang hijau tentang mereka. Tak kira lah kalau suka warna hijau ke, ataupun saya selalu cakap kalau contohnya lah guest kita tu ada memang satu wardrobe penuh baju warna hijau. Just tell us what's green about you. Tak kira literally atau figuratively, you name it. Apa yang hijau berkenaan you? Kita mula dengan Cik Yus. Apa yang hijau dengan Cik Yus?
Okay, terima kasih. This is very good question. Untuk hijau, in my life ada 3 benda. Satu, saya suka makan sayur. Sebab saya cuba elakkan makan beef ataupun dairy products. Sebab benda-benda ni akan keluarkan carbon dari segi processing dia. Beef memang terkenal sebagai the highest carbon emission in the world. Yang kedua, saya dah kurangkan travelling lah, naik kereta. Semua meeting kalau kerja kalau nak boleh buat kat rumah, guna Zoom saya buat kat rumah.
Online lah.
Online lah. Nombor 3 dah pasal ni lah, pasal electricity kat rumah.
Okay.
Kat rumah saya ada rooftop, dah solar. Jadi dah that to me green lah. Dah kurangkan electricity.
Dah lama dah?
Dah lama dah.
Okay.
Saya tinggal kat Cyberjaya ni for the last 6 years. Dan bila kita kurangkan electricity consumption, directly kita kurangkan carbon emissions.
Yes,
sebab kat Malaysia ni 70% of the electricity daripada the coal ataupun gas untuk generate electricity.
Cik Yus, orang selalu kata solar ni mahal. For a start, it's quite expensive lah. But what is your view on that? Untuk sustainability?
In my view, when I bought the house, the solar there already.
Good for you.
Yang kedua, dah betul lah. Kalau letak rooftop solar, roughly harga dia dah 20,000, dah 30,000 kan. Dan banyak dah green financing available. And dia punya the interest rate pun dah quite good.
Betul.
Okay. Macam mana dengan Maya? What's green about you?
Um,
Other than we know that you are the green goddess. Tapi what's more? Apa lagi yang hijau tentang Maya?
Well, I would say the first thing that comes to mind adalah saya adalah quite green in the sense of really trying untuk tidak mengamalkan overconsumption.
Okay.
Dari semua segi lah. And not only food, I love sayur-sayur juga. Actually 6 days of the week, you give me sayur every day dengan nasi putih, I'm super happy.
Okay.
Actually, then orang kadang-kadang offer, you should order an expensive steak. I'm like, no, I don't feel like it. But for the same reasons, so ethical reasons, tapi also dari segi selera. Atau saya dah biasakan diri saya sendiri untuk cuba macam-macam sayuran. And then also like in terms of, you know what, one of the problems nowadays with the new pop culture lah, Instagram, TikToks, and influencers, and this is where I speak. This is where my strength is as a person, as a public figure. Di mana sekarang tu, I really kadang-kadang despair. Outfit of the day is so important. Jangan sekali-sekala pakai baju yang sama dalam setahun tu. You know, so you're being trapped into this fast fashion, and you go online and you beli baju yang murah-murah tapi kena cun dekat Instagram. Tapi sebenarnya it's made of just plastics or like polystyrene or whatever, you know, and it's called fast fashion because kita beli minggu ni, minggu depan kita buang. You know, and when you see the amount of fashion waste yang sekarang kita develop because we just want to look, cardigan ni esok tak boleh pakai ya?
Tak boleh dah. Sekali pakai.
Malu tau, malu.
Orang dah nampak.
So for me, I'm quite a sempoy kind of person. And there have been anugerahs. I recycled my baju from 10 years ago. I pakai balik this next anugerah. I tak rasa malu or terhina for anything like that. My clothing also, I really prefer to how we used to do it in the 50s and 60s. You buy expensive tapi berkualiti dan dia akan tahan bertahun-tahun lamanya sampai anak you pun boleh pakai balik, you know. So that's one thing where I'm like, oh, do you really have to buy so many things just because of the internet?
Maya, as someone very famous sekarang, what makes you join this green initiative yang mana we understand you are green activists where you promote contoh lah green clean river. There's a challenge that you make, Maya Karin challenge tu. How's that make you someone yang mungkin terjebak dalam this area where you want to promote such thing other than other things?
I mean, there's no how would I say? It's just come naturally. I was
Okay.
brought up with a German father.
Okay.
And kita tahu Germany is one of the most pioneering countries. About sustainability, conservation in terms of nature. And so saya dah didedahkan pada usia yang muda about the basic things of recycling or just being sensible about a lifestyle, a sensible lifestyle. And I was lucky sebab I pergi international school dekat Indonesia. And in international schools masa tu pun they were much more progressive about educating the students. So I was very lucky in that. I brought that forward. For instance, that project. One project I learned in my school. I brought it over to Malaysia masa I dah mendapat nama, and I worked with 22,000 school children on my own. And I did a project with them selama sebulan untuk menitik beratkan plastic bags, and that it's like everywhere flying around in Malaysia. And some of them still sometimes bila terserempak atau dekat mall, which is really cute, or they see me at the movie promo. Kak Maya, you remember me? I was Dajjal 5 masa tu. Like, I don't remember you. But I'm so proud. She's like, I still remember that project. We worked together. I'm like so proud that it made an effort. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going like this, but it was because it was just from a young age. And when I first came to Malaysia, of course, Indonesia, it's a bit, you see a lot of slum areas, okay? And you'd see a lot of poverty and poor people and rubbish everywhere because it's just but when I came to Malaysia, I expected a different standard. So I stopped coming to Malaysia. Tapi what I keep saying is everything was pretty okay. I was like, my mother's country, Malaysia kan. Orang ingat saya orang Indon, bukan. Then I was like, okay, not bad. The roads are cleaner, yeah. There's definitely no slums in my country. Tapi then come time pasar malam. Macam taufan after the pasar is finished, It's just crazy. But soon as the people are like wrapping up their stalls, okay, semua habis dah dah pukul 10 and everything. Or even pasar pagi, you go there. What is this? What happened? As if like a hurricane came through and there's plastic bags everywhere, putung rokok everywhere, buah-buahan on the floor, and it's just a mess. And it's like, why? But that kind of helped me to say, it's all like snowball effect lah. Daripada tu pun ada kesedaran alam sekitar dan civic behaviour macam tak cukup something.
Do you remember basically the trigger point lah, dia punya corner dekat mana yang you start betul-betul?
Yes, actually I was very lucky. My father bought a big land dekat Sungai Mechala.
Okay.
And I lived there when I was a student. And then pagi-pagi pukul 8:30 pagi, pukul 9 I was stand outside and we are surrounded by trees. My whole house is kat tengah-tengah and hutan sekeliling. Dengan burung, dengan monyet, dengan ular, dengan macam-macam lah dia. So I would stand there in the morning. Every 9 o'clock is like a ritual before going to college, and I would like take in the energy of the greenery around me and the fresh air. And then one day I remember that I said a small prayer to God, and I said, oh God, I wish I could do something one day, to make people realize how beautiful this is. Look at this. Gives me a new lease in life this morning. I can go to college with a clear mind, like maybe one day. Sebab sekarang ni I setakat student je. Siapa nak dengar I? I cakap dengan majiran lah, Kak, tercantik lah. But I was like, I'm just a student, And then 6 years later, one day I woke up and I woke up again, and then I realized, hang on a minute, I'm not a student anymore. And sekarang ni I dah made my name and people watch me on TV all the time. Let's go. Yes. Let's do it. So, I don't know, I was so on fire. I sendiri panggil WWF Malaysian Nature Society. I'm like, hi. I'm a volunteer. Do you need any help? Do you need any promotions? Do you need me to talk about anything? And I'm like, oh, huh? So from there,
Cik Yus, kita mungkin nak tahu jugalah, ada tak idola dalam negara ke luar negara yang mungkin give you a thought process on how you are right now. Boleh share dengan kita any luar negara, dalam negara, maybe something interesting to share to us?
Okay, boleh. This is very good question. My idola simple je, my brother.
Your brother.
And he used to be the associate professor dekat Harriet Ward University dan dalam bahagian chemical engineering juga. Jadi masa SPM dan dia did quite well, and then dia pun pergi dah US dekat bahagian Chicago. So saya call dia kan, masa tu dia tak ada teleconference kan, Google Meet ke, Google Zoom ke. So kita guna voice call lah. Jadi he inspired me so well, and seronok tengok dia belajar dah chemical engineering. Jadi masa tu saya dah umur 17 tahun, dia umur roughly 20 tahun lah. And so saya shifted. And saya punya aspirasi nak jadi doktor kepada chemical engineering, sebab not only for the career but also to the I would say fight for my community in Shah Alam. And I also wants to say many people bila tengok Shah Alam di associated dengan kawasan-kawasan yang megah, yang mewah. There are areas in Shah Alam, especially section 16 yang is not that gah, ataupun kawasan what people call now the upper tier ataupun T20. Jadi dalam 16 saya tak nampak people understand the issues, people know the solutions, can influence the policies and drive change. And jadi that helped me pursue chemical engineering to understand the technicalities of kimia, and then emissions, and how to influence the policy landscape in Malaysia to help drive change in my little society lah. Yang kedua, kat luar negara pula, bila saya kerja kat luar negara, saya nampak tokoh-tokoh dah Arab, tokoh-tokoh dah Eropah, tokoh-tokoh Amerika kan. Memang dia betul-betul dah drive sustainability macam Maya cakap di Jerman. Tak payah dari Jerman, dah Denmark pun sama, dekat France pun sama, UK pun sama, dekat Saudi Arabia, dekat UAE, Mazda City. These are the clear investor, advocator and real true believer of change. In terms of sustainability, green technology, clean technology, recycling, circular economy. And they are very advanced dengan policy, dengan penalty, dengan the way of life, the culture of the society. So advanced. Jadi these two the trends of factors help me lah to make a career decision and then guide me through lah. And with a certain very clear purpose of life.
Selalunya kita pilih orang luar selain keluarga, tapi Cik Yus memilih abang dia sendiri. Seorang abang je ke ada?
Yes, seorang.
Maya, as a celebrity, orang nampak yang cantik, benda-benda cantik, benda indah je kan kepada seorang selebriti. Kadang kita tak tahu pun apa pengorbanan yang you dah buat selama ni. Kalau you boleh share, what is your biggest pengorbanan sepanjang career you?
Okay, I'm very known for making movies kan. Walaupun saya buat music juga, tapi saya lebih terkenal dengan filem-filem saya. Tapi I just do want to let you know that making these movies, especially horror movies, is very extremely tiring. And especially kalau shooting malam-malam kan. Oh my God. I mean, I do look back on that time and I say the hours that I spent, the time that I spent to make sure this film is the best. And even if you're done with a good take, but then they need one more take. Sebenarnya penat dah nak pingsan dah, but you need to do one more take. Like, you just want to cry sometimes. Memang ada time-time juga memang I terpaksa terlalu stres sampai menangis, and I just had to let it go. Okay, come back on set.
I just went through your Instagram. I terjun Maya Karin.
Ada dua.
Cuba cerita sikit.
Dua-dua Malaysia I
tak tahu langsung.
Ada satu dekat Sabah, satu dekat Ulu Langat. So yang pertama yang dinamakan Maya Karin was masa tu saya buat expedition with some researchers and conservationists dari Sabah. And we went into the forest with the rangers and jalan kaki for 4 or 5 days. And then kebetulan there was waterfall that had been recently discovered dan tiada nama
Tak
lagi.
ada nama lagi.
So letaklah
So the rangers were like, well, apa lagi?
Maya Karin.
So, and then now dekat Ulu Langat, they also thought, hey, we should have a waterfall called Maya Karin. So, adalah every weekend orang yang suka hiking, suka jalan-jalan, nak kurus ke, nak makan angin ke, there you'll go to my waterfall. So,
Interesting.
thank you, such an honor.
Bukan senang nak. Kita pun tak ada.
Malah tak ada
Dinamakan
kan?
dengan
Hari ni pun saya
waterfall.
tahu ada hari tu Maya Karin.
ya.
Bolehlah Cik Yus pergi lepas ni pula kan. Kita
Okay.
pergi trekking.
Semua bukan satu, dua.
Oh.
Yeah. West Malaysia, East Malaysia, dua-dua.
Alright, so that's all for our first two. Belum habis lagi show kita.
Yeah.
For our first two segments, before we move to the next segment yang quite heavy sikit berbanding tadi, kita
Okay.
take a break dulu, tarik nafas dulu dan kita akan sambung lepas ni. Okay? So, kita harap penonton kita semua dah kenal lah siapa Maya Karin. Takkanlah tak kenal Maya Karin kan? Dengan siapa Tuan Noor Yusazli Yusoff atau kita panggil hari ni Cik Yus. Dua figura yang berbeza, bidang kerja berbeza tapi misi dia sama untuk towards the green and the sustainability of the earth. Okay, dan sekarang kita masuk dalam segmen utama. Dalam The Sus Talk, segmen ni adalah segmen yang bertemakan sustainability. Dan topik kali ni adalah how to sustain the world. Okay, and Cik Yus sebagai seorang Chief Strategy and Sustainability Officer. Panjang title dia.
Panjang.
So satu position yang sangat berat. Bukan setakat jaga strategi company, nak kena tengok juga part sustainability lagi. At a C-suite punya position, kita confirm Cik Yus memang sangat sibuk dengan occupied dengan macam-macam perkara, dengan macam-macam meeting, dokumen yang nak kena semak, approval lagi nak kena sign banyak lagi. So macam mana Cik Yus dalam masa yang sama advocate sustainability dengan ESG? Sebelum tu boleh cerita dulu tak apa berkenaan dengan SDG dengan SDG mungkin?
SDG dengan SG ni ada beza dia. Jadi bagi saya dah explain kan, first SDG lah. It's a United Nations Sustainable Development Goal.
Okay.
Ada 17 kan, 17 boxes yang color-color tu kan. Kalau kita go and check kan, macam-macam color dia. Ada color merah, color orange kan. It was adopted by all United Nations countries kan, in the 2015 kan. The motive of UN SDG, nama short dia kan, wanted to achieve many goals kan. Number one is to stop kan, the poverty kan, the climate change, environmental degradations kan, to make the world a better place in terms of transparency kan, justice system kan, and many others kan, termasuklah biodiversity. Okay. So the Malaysia is one of the country and that adopted and implemented kan, UN SDG 17 kan. Dan Malaysia punya achievement has been varied lah kan, for all 17 kan, macam-macam color Malaysia ada. ESG pula kan, dah masuk dia the environmental, the social and governance kan. Jadi companies, private sector ke SMEs ke adopted the ESG kan, to the report their performance dalam bahagian environmental kan, the social and governance kan, dan untuk investor kan. Sekarang ni bila kita nak raise financing ke ataupun kita nak seek investors untuk project, untuk raise capital kan, sama ada equity ataupun debt kan, investor akan minta kan satu dokumen baru.
Laporan.
Nama dia ESG report card kan, on top of your financial report card kan. Jadi dalam environment ni ada apa kan, contohnya ada kan waste management kan, environmental kan, the water consumption contohlah kan. Jadi investor wants to know kan, how your company contribute to environmental, how to make it green and more sustainable kan. Dalam bahagian waste kan, investor wants to know how do you manage the responsible consumption, macam Maya cakap tadi kan. To be responsible, to consume what we just need at this time, so that we can save more for future generations and to do the same, to consume the same. And nombor 3, contohnya water. Yeah? How much water we not only drink, but also untuk industry processes. Kan? Kalau kilang-kilang buat air, contohlah. Kan? Untuk kita buat pertanian, irrigation. Kan? Itu baru saja E. Kan? S pula, contohnya is social. Kan? the relationship antara company, suppliers, consumers, employees, kan? Dan elemen-elemen dalam pilar sosial ni ada macam-macam, kan? Contohnya human rights, kan? Living wages, kan? Human right basically a company must treat the workers, kan? Fairly and well, kan? Living wages contohnya we have to pay, kan, adequately and fairly lah to the employees. And the last pillar of ESG ni is called governance. So basically business ethics, kan, governance, anti-corruption, board composition, leadership and decision making dalam company itu. Jadi investors ke ataupun stakeholders, kan, need to see, kan, the company punya ESG performance, kan. And internal juga sebagai employee, kita also wants to know how our company perform now in accordance not only the financial but also the E, the S and the G.
Cik Yus, you mentioned just now Malaysia already adopting the SDG punya initiative by United Nations. But what do you think of the readiness of Malaysia? Sometimes ada company mungkin dah ada governance side, social pun dah ada, the CSR, but it's not being compiled under the framework of ESG. How do you think Malaysia right now is going towards the sustainability part lah, Cik Yus?
Okay. For the Malaysia, I think Malaysia is ready, is progressing very well. Ada dua benda yang Malaysia in my opinion did well lah. Dan number one is the energy, and which is to transition and Malaysia from fossil fuel and kepada renewable energy. It's why government launch National Energy Transition Roadmap 2030 NETR to drive the whole nations, industry, technology, people, capital, from fossil fuel investment kepada renewable energy by 2050, and needing about 1.3 trillion ringgit. Itu nombor satu. Nombor dua, the poverty. So the Malaysia has putting a lot of efforts to eradicate, I would say not eradicate, to reduce significantly and the number of poor people, hardcore poor people, not only through the financial assistance but also through education, through the guidance and through community support and many others. So to me the SDG, ada reason kenapa they call the 2030. Sebab the deadline is 2030. Sebab it was launched 2015. Jadi tinggal lagi roughly 5 tahun sahaja untuk Malaysia, kan, accelerate the journey SDG and to achieve our national target lah.
Itu dari segi negara kita. Kalau macam Maya pula, what's your opinion untuk contoh rakyat Malaysia, Malaysians pula, are we ready towards the sustainability punya culture ni?
We are not where we should be. Tapi and we will not reach. Sorry, I like to make it more blunt nowadays. We will not reach the goals that we said we should. We won't. Tapi at least I can see the awareness is growing every single day, dan the semangat and certain amalan are improving, and that is at least a positive thing. Kita fokus pada yang positif, kan? So the trajectory is going in a positive way. Cuma not as fast as we can, but that's human beings, because one of the reasons we have this environmental problems is because human nature is greed. And we want more and more and more. And if I reach here, I want more. Then I reach here, no, actually that's not enough. I want more, some more. Some more. Itulah sifat manusia overall.
It's never enough.
That's just how we are wired, And so it's very hard. It's hard work to actually keep trying to let people know that you don't need it. You can relax. Don't stress out. Satu baju tu cukup. Cardigan ni cukup. But we are going in a good direction. So this is where people like us, this is a perfect example of how we have to work together. And when I do a lot of talks, and you work with Petronas before, I work a lot with Petronas, but in totally different capacity. So even now, I just finished a talk for Petronas Sabah, and they like to engage me, but this is the part that is important, the technical team, the researchers, the ones who've done the studies and know the numbers and the statistics. And then there's people like me who have to be the voice and the push lah kepada masyarakat who maybe be more interested, no offense, to listen to something that I may have to say berbanding dengan the professionals. Because sometimes the professionals, they're professionals, but sometimes the people, it's hard to understand what the professionals do. There's a reason you have masters and PhD and all that, because you are so smart. Yang orang biasa tu macam, tak faham lah. Apa dia cakap tadi? You know?
So they need a translator lah.
And we need the whole masyarakat to understand our mission. And sometimes it's easier for a person like me to be able to communicate with the masyarakat. Makcik, dia ni pandai orangnya. Saya faham. Saya pun tak faham makcik. But you know, please can you keep the longkang clean? Please can you or to a principal at a school. It's very important that your teachers teach the children. It's very important that we nurture these values and slowly build what the goals are.
Maya, relates to your thoughts tadi kan, as an influencer, artist, you can ajar, educate orang lebih banyak lagi comparing to the professionals. But then from industri hiburan perspektif juga, how else can we move towards the sustainability part on how we can help the masyarakat terutamanya untuk lebih sedar selain daripada influencers coming to the site and then tell them, makcik, longkang ni kotor, sila keluarkan sampah. How else can we help them in terms of industri hiburan sekali?
How else? Well, we can incorporate it into our stories and scripts, for instance. But one of my famous movies is Duyung. And Duyung was shot in 2007 di Sabah. Masa tu pun the focal point is, ya Allah, banyaknya sampah dalam laut ni sampai Duyung pun tak nak datang lagi. Terlalu kotor, terlalu tercemar, terlalu busuk. So that's a way, and millions of children have seen Duyung now, because the first draw is Duyung, but there is a subtext, there's that extra message that teaches you, oh, Jimmy dengan Oryx tu hari-hari pergi kutip sampah. You know, and that's way how we can kind of bring it together. On a personal basis, when I shoot a movie, sebenarnya I really do check with production. Ni catering ke macam mana? I really almost in my capacity insist on catering.
Okay.
Tapi there are productions out there yang malas nak catering, so they go hantar the runner and pergi kedai mamak ke, beli berpaket full of mi goreng, bihun goreng, mi goreng, then they beli lebih and then they just throw it all in one big giant bag every day. Whereas catering is so much better. Orang beratur, that teaches people one thing, respect, and then you take what you want. Not orang bagi you 2 ketul ayam, sebenarnya I tak suka pun, I tak nak pun. Lepas tu I'm the one yang pathetic kadang-kadang, jalan-jalan on set. Abang nak lagi ayam tak? Abang nak lagi tak? Sebab dia tak cukup, saya terlebih.
Yes.
Kan? But a buffet is you really go, oh, I only want this fried fish today. And I want this kangkong tu je. Actually I tak lapar, tadi dah makan. So anyway, that's on a personal, small scale. But on a bigger thing, okay, that's the beauty of entertainment. We can combine entertainment with education. So kita kena lah ada filem nanti, apa tu, that cartoon, Upin Ipin, like do a whole series on apa ni, environmental issues. Then the kids will watch because they love Upin Ipin, and at the same time they learn.
Beralih kepada Cik Yus pula lah, kita lihat bidang sustainability ni quite new di Malaysia, tapi syarikat-syarikat di Malaysia mostly dah take it out internally on the initiative and so on. Tapi isu kita kat sini mungkin dari segi talent, expertise untuk implement the sustainability side ni. What is your thoughts on that, and macam mana Cik Yus sendiri mengatasi masalah talent, lacking of talent?
The statistics kan, 75% of the companies kan, memang dia mengaku kan, they don't have the capacity or the capability to implement climate change. Ini berdasarkan the latest data lah, survey kan. However, the good news is 90% or 95% of them are willing kan, to hire more green or sustainability talents in the next 5 years kan. Jadi that create opportunities globally, and about 30 juta kan kerja yang akan di create for Malaysia kan. hundred of thousands job will be created in the next many decades until 2050 as a Malaysia drive our low carbon economy towards a net zero carbon emission by 2050. Jadi opportunity memang banyak, company pun nak hire, tapi kita ada satu serious issue kat Malaysia ni, iaitu talent. Talent kurang. Bila kita cakap sustainability, advokasi ataupun engagement is one type. Kita tengok the whole job scope. Contohnya bahagian the green energy, segi solar, segi hydroelectric, EVs for example, macam-macam lagi lah, carbon capture, even the batteries from lithium ion. Lepas tu segi manufacturing pula, industri kita banyak guna tenaga from fossil fuel to how to decarbonize the whole industry. Tak kira lah industri buat makanan ke, industri buat electronics ke, cement, steel, shipping, aviation. Jadi semua ni berlaku all at the same time. Saya punya personal efforts is to drive the climate action in Malaysia is through capacity building. To me, is more impactful to engage dengan direct stakeholders untuk buat dia faham. Share knowledge, kita cakap sustainability from the context, from the language, and the understanding and the impact on them.
Yeah, like I was saying before, I've been invited to many corporates, by corporates, tapi juga by many universities in the last 4-5 years. Macam-macam university I cannot count already. I talk to the students, but I always, at the end of it, I remind them that whatever field yang diorang study, if they apply the importance of environmental sustainability and conservation, and that there is, as Encik Yus was saying, there's a job security there. If you have some kepakaran that involves, environmental aspects for whatever, maybe you are an architect. If you have special, you study it a bit more, this could be your strength nanti in the future. Or just as an instance, but I do encourage them, listen, take it seriously, this part, make it part of your hobby to read. So later on you can apply it with whatever career you choose, and then you can say at the job interview, actually I also have some credentials in this department, I can help your company dengan macam ni, macam tu. So yeah, so we can, but it'll take time lah to grow talents. And so let's say the students I spoke to about 8 years ago now, masa tu baru tahun kedua ke, atau dah nak grad ke, maybe they have done something now which we cannot just see yet, tapi hopefully.
Macam Cik Yus ada mention tadi about capacity building to enhance your skills, tapi mungkin daripada Cik Yus ni, what are the tips that you can give, especially at a higher position like you, untuk they equip themselves with these competencies, untuk
reskill and upskill.
Yes, reskill, upskill, implement further on the sustainability side, Cik Yus.
From my personal practice, dan kita kena faham sustainability ni, knowledge dia is rapidly evolving. Maksudnya as we speak now, something happening dekat Europe, something happening dekat US, something happening dekat Japan. So they build safety knowledge. Contohnya Europe mungkin dalam proses to accelerate dia punya sustainability reporting and formatting untuk semua public listed company yang beroperasi di Europe ataupun export daripada Malaysia ke Europe. They already dah working on various regulations. Jadi to keep pace dengan knowledge ni is very key. Satu, you memang kena ada banyak membaca, you kena ada banyak tulis nota dan faham dan hadam. Satu. Yang kedua, sebab this field is evolving very fast, you need to be in the right network. Contohnya, the green technology network ataupun sustainability the reporting network ataupun sustainability the climate change, the group, ataupun advocator, plastic recycling, e-waste recycling. So by being in the different groups, you actually not only absorb their knowledge but also contribute to the discussion to make it more meaningful and impactful. And nombor 3, as I mentioned, kalau kita baca, kita absorb dalam semua ni, kita juga kena output kita kena share, sebab the world ada 8 billion population or more now, seorang memang tak boleh kan buat semua ni, dan this is our planet because there's no planet B. Kan? Jadi kalau boleh kan, semua 8 bilion umur population dalam dunia ni, termasuk 34 atau 33 juta kan population kat Malaysia ni, kena ada at least minimum awareness. What is a climate change, what is environmental conservation, and what is plastic recycling contoh. Awareness. And awareness saja memang take a lot of time. Kan, Maya buat engagement dengan dia punya stakeholders, I buat engagement my own stakeholders. Kan. Lepas tu bukan sekali. Kan. Berpuluh-puluh kali. Kan. Different group, different session, different time zone. Kadang-kadang malam kat Malaysia pukul 1 you kena attend the hydrogen forum for example. Kan. Dekat US mungkin dah pagi, atau kat Europe dah tengah hari. Kan. So you have to stay awake. Kan. Basically 24 hours ever ready lah.
So, I nak tanya to both of you, looking at krisis global, krisis alam sekitar, apa tindakan yang paling mendesak lah yang you rasa yang kita boleh ambil untuk elakkan kerosakan yang maybe unrepairable lagi lah dekat planet kita ni? Mungkin 1 or 2 or 3 kalau if you want, up to you, nak bagi cadangan berapa pun, and kita minta Maya dulu.
That's the thing. That's why we have 17 boxes to tick, because it's an ecosystem, and you cannot just say okay one of them is we eradicate poverty. It's almost impossible to eradicate poverty. You can decrease poverty, and when you decrease poverty and increase education, then other things, positive things will come into place sebab tu. So it's a big puzzle that you have to keep shifting around. It's like a mixer box, you know, you naik turun, this one up, ini tak bounce sikit. But again, for me, the most important is constant education opportunity for people, good solid opportunity, and that they, for instance, let's say, I don't know, if people understood more and were educated more, let's say in Kelantan, yang case yang kita memang sangat familiar kan. Maybe before this, when they had no education, dia orang macam keliru. Kenapa kita asyik kena banjir ya? Kenapa air kita kotor dekat KL macam elok je? But without education, they'd be like, that's strange. Okay, tak apalah, nasib lah. Nasib. You know?
Kita tak tahu banjir.
But they don't understand why, because why you kena banjir? Why you yang malang, semua all your things, keperluan dalam rumah setiap tahun gone. You have to go buy again. So the poverty cycle keeps continuing. But when they realize, oh, hang on, I learned from my buddy at the Tetare is because of the pembalakan atas tu, you know. Tahu tak? Tak tahu. Sebab itulah sungai tu kotor. Sungai tu dah penuh dengan soil erosion. So sebab itulah kita minum mandi dengan air teh.
Mandi air teh.
And then once they get that, then they will make a stand, and then that's when the policymakers will listen. That's when they say, oh, the people understand lah. Diorang dah tahu dah. Dulu kita boleh tipu. Tu nasib you lah. Kesian you. Kesian. But actually, kau yang salah.
Yeah.
Why you tak betulkan benda ni? Can you please betulkan? Otherwise, I will not vote for you. So, it's like, so sometimes there are situations where it's in the interest of policymakers not to educate people. Bagi je rasa, that's your, like I said, kesian nasib lah. Kesian.
Drastic action yang pada pendapat saya lah, ada beberapa lah. Satu, as I mentioned, Malaysia is a transition. And energy wise, dari segi the fossil fuel kepada renewable energy. Jadi NETR ataupun the National Energy Transition Roadmap 2050 was launched by Yang Berhormat Prime Minister last year to help Malaysia transition from the fossil fuel and energy kepada more renewable energy until 2050. Yang kedua, bila kita tengok industry transition kita juga kena introduce konsep nama dia just a transitions. Maksud dia just transition yang adil. Jadi pekerja-pekerja for example dari dalam syarikat minyak, dalam syarikat gas, syarikat petrokimia ataupun coal for example they also need jobs in the next 1 or 2 decades. Jadi the just transitions, maksud dia to transition them from their skill set, from their mindset most importantly, from fossil fuel industry, yang di mana emissions from fossil fuels ni contribute to the greenhouse gas and that contribute directly to the climate change. And how they transition, kan, daripada welder ke operator ke dalam kilang-kilang minyak, kilang-kilang gas atau petrokimia kepada maybe the supervisor ataupun the same job dalam the solar energy, dalam the hydroelectric, dalam bahagian maybe green hydrogen plant later. Kan? Jadi this process must happen. So that's to me the one of the most critical items to do lah. Yang kedua, kan, while we take notes, kan, the climate change is caused by human activity, mostly emissions from fossil fuel. Dalam this case, minyak, gas and coal. Yang kedua, saya rasa betul-betul ketara kena buat sekarang is to conserve our hutan, like Maya said. Kan? Sebab hutan-hutan kita ni, Malaysia has been blessed dengan hutan. Kan? Dan kita, Malaysia ni signatory kepada Paris Agreement 2015. And Malaysia pun ada target. And 45% of tanah-tanah kat Malaysia ni should be green. 45% or 50% somewhere there. Jadi hutan ni very important to be conserved. Sebab apa? Dia bertindak macam paru-paru kita. Carbon emission from transportation, from industry kan keluar. Jadi hutan-hutan ni akan absorb kan dia photosynthesis.
Boleh saya cop sekejap?
Boleh.
So this is another good example of where education and awareness adalah sangat penting. Sebab our past politicians have claimed Malaysia still has 50% green. Hutan is not sama dengan plantation. Jadi if you have an aerial view, oh look, it's all green. Kita sampai dekat KLIA ni memang nampak hijau. Tapi it's just palm oil. Palm oil has no biodiversity. It's not a hutan. A hutan supports biodiversity. Beribu-ribu plants and animals, dari semut sampai ke harimau. But in a plantation, you cuba jalan.
Tak ada.
Maybe seekor babi hutan. That's it. No birds, no butterflies. So again, when people have to understand that you cannot, hutan is hutan. Maybe some people still get confused, but look, the palm oil tu, kelapa sawit tu semua hutan juga tu, hutan tu, banyak hutan. But now when they understand that's totally different things, then they'll get it. Oh, okay. Okay, continue, sir. Continue.
That is very, very true. Education can help the stakeholders, students ke, household ke, to differentiate hutan-hutan ni. Jadi dengan further education, kita pun boleh continue differentiating hutan. Kan, hutan ni macam-macam pokok ada. Pokok balak lah, pokok dan mangrove lah. Kan. Jadi setiap pokok ni ada jenis-jenis dia. Dan dia punya kekuatan untuk absorb carbon different. Kan. Contohnya, pokok dan mangrove. Matang Taiping, and one of the world best, and I would say the world best after the mangrove in Bangladesh, kat Malaysia, dekat Taiping, Perak ni, about 40,000 hectare, and size dia, and is one of the most important, most potent, most stronger absorb carbon emissions. And kalau saya tak silap, dia punya kekuatan tu, dah 10 hingga 12 kali ganda lebih power absorb carbon berbanding pokok tropika forest kita. Jadi by conserving mangrove, not only in the Perak but also in Sabah, dah banyak macam syarikat tanam mangrove now kita tengok sebab pokok ni pokok ajaib bagi saya. But they absorb carbon ni which is helping our carbon emission ni to reduce and achieve national target of net zero carbon emission by 2050. Jadi again education is very key to understand, and so that we appreciate our action today contribute to carbon emission reduction and also the carbon sequestration or carbon absorption.
Some eye-opening information
Betul.
for us as well.
I pun baru tahu those two facts yang even the as simple fact as plantation is not a forest pun kita tak pernah terfikir that it require a a full scale of ecosystem to call it a forest.
Betul. Dan pokok-pokok pun ada perbezaan dia, how they
Yes.
react to
Kita
the
kan sama kan,
environment.
hijau
Betul,
ni
betul.
hijau, ini hijau. So, dia absorb carbon dioxide, dia release
We
oxygen.
finally got educated.
Yeah, betul lah. I just want to add a final point kan. Bila cakap hutan ni, kan, the ecosystem dan biodiversity tu is very key. Contohnya, ingat tak cerita pasal budak-budak kecil ke bangau ni?
Yeah.
Kan, dia pergi nyamuk kan, kena makan. Lepas tu ulat ke kan, jadi makanan another the binatang kan, ataupun the burung jadi the makanan the ular ataupun harimau. Jadi it is a very important ecosystem to be preserved. Plus the pokok-pokok, bunga-bunga, tumbuhan-tumbuhan. These are all important elements tau dalam protecting the environment in Malaysia. When as we unfortunately have seen kan over the decades kan, and sebab development kan, the industry, bina rumah kan, banyak hutan telah ditebang kan, not only kat Malaysia but tapi macam-macam country sama. Even western countries pun kadang-kadang hutan pun sudah amat kurang ataupun tidak ada.
Alah, macam England lah, boring yang sangat dekat situ. Kalau you travel by train from south of England sampai ke utara, nampak apa? Nothing lah.
Betul.
Nothing interesting at all.
Yeah. And then kalau dia categorized a Hyde Park very close to Buckingham Palace sebagai hutan, I beg to differ lah.
Yeah, for
I beg to differ.
sure. For sure.
Okay, macam mana Cik Yus carry the weight nak maintain, nak advocate topik-topik sustainability, SDG, ESG, dan dalam masa yang sama ada positive mindset untuk kekalkan usaha advocacy ni? Very heavy kan topik yang Cik Yus bawakan, yang Maya bawa ni. It's very heavy and very dry.
It is a very heavy topic, but I don't think it's dry lah. Sebab it impact us every day. Kan? Even while we are speaking now, kan, kita guna the equity, the environment. For example, the electricity kita guna, kan, komputer, kan, the lampu-lampu ni, semua from tenaga elektrik. Yang tenaga elektrik kat Malaysia ni, 70% of them generated by fossil fuel, iaitu coal, arang, yang kedua is gas. So, kita guna ni, kan, pelan-pelan dekat Perak, dekat Terengganu, dekat Kelantan, kan, akan burn kan, coal ataupun gas untuk generate electricity. Kita guna sekarang. Jadi bila dia burn kat sana, dia akan release more carbon dioxide. Dan pelan-pelan gas, for example, dia akan release another second most gas yang kuat, nama dia methane. Antara the carbon dioxide dan methane ni pula, kan, katalah carbon dioxide satu, methane ni dia punya kekuatan untuk pencemaran udara ni kalau release kan, roughly 15 sampai 36 kali ganda. Kan? Dia punya kekuatan tu pencemaran udara methane. Kan? Jadi
And you know where methane is from? Of the biggest contribution of methane in the world?
Kat mana?
In quiz. Itulah from the lembu-lembu that we farm on a mass scale. So, and that's why it's encouraged to be a bit more vegetarian, to eat less meat. Kalau ia pun nak that juicy steak, sekali seminggu cukup lah, atau sekali sebulan cukup lah.
So that's the relation.
So they fart. Okay, it's not many people know this. Lembu pun kentut, kentut methane. So
betul.
they just spend all day eating grass, perut. Tapi when you have one or two cows, atau cows macam kita ada dekat kampung, adalah 10 ekor, okay lah, tak apa. Tapi ni for instance in Argentina, you have this unbelievable, what do you call them? Farms.
Cattle farms.
Farms, thousands and thousands and thousands all farting every day too. So if you want a fun fact, if you methane sounds so scientific, it sounds complicated. Tapi if you explain to kids or people, yeah, it's a cow fart. Oh,
Yes.
cow fart is causing global warming. Then maybe they want terkejut sikit.
Betul, itu yang relate to Maya earlier the point tu, reduce consumption, especially the beef consumptions. Dan kerajaan-kerajaan Eropah for example kan, has taken action farm ni. Contohnya, saya lupa nama the country tu, sama ada Denmark ataupun Belgium tak silap, they introduce nama dia tax on lembu. So satu ekor lembu kena bayar
Ada
100
tax.
pound sterling and tax euro 100 per cow per year. Jadi kalau you ada kata 1 juta lembu-lembu ni, satu farm, bukan satu country, satu farm. So your tax is 1 juta. Kan? Kali 100 euro per year.
Kita come back kepada soalan kita tadi. Macam mana Cik Yus kekalkan positive mindset nak teruskan usaha advokasi dalam bidang sustainability, ESG dan SDG?
Okay. Satu benda yang saya sebut pada diri saya dan keluarga saya is a purpose.
What?
Purpose.
Purpose.
Purpose dan matlamat. Kita ada satu planet saja, nama dia planet Earth. There's no planet B. And we are all 8 billion population ni contribute collectively responsible to protecting our own planet. Yang kedua, kan, this climate change ni impact dia will be medium to long term. Kan? Jadi saya pun tak tahu macam mana the next generation akan live. Sebab kalau sekarang pun sudah panas, kan, makanan tak cukup, kan. Sekarang cuba kita fast forward lagi 10 tahun ataupun 20 tahun. Mungkin kita akan nampak pelbagai impact of climate change, physical risk dia. Contohnya the sea coastal area, yang dekat Pulau Ketam, dekat Pulau Lumut contohnya. Mungkin air akan naik, sebab climate change. The ice is melting dekat northern pole, northern pole. Jadi dekat that area ada dua benda penting. Satu, dah kelapa sawit dekat Pulau Keri. Yang kedua, kita punya padi dekat Sekincang, Selangor for example. Jadi impact both economy dan also kita punya food security.
Macam Maya, what's making you continuing buat benda ni? How do you maintain your positive mindset?
Okay, I have to be honest. Ada time where I start to rasa penat.
Okay.
You know, it's just because I'm like, maybe I get frustrated. People are not listening hard enough and fast enough. Kadang-kadang I have to agree that semangat sometimes dia down. And then I pun like, okay, tak apalah, I serahkan je lah. You tak nak dengar, okay, tak apa. But then somehow or rather I will get that semangat back again, and then I have another fire, and then I go. I don't know, for me, essentially I need to make people, a bad environment is going to kill us all. Senang cerita lah. Bukannya I nak you selamatkan hutan dengan harimau je. You nak selamatkan diri sendiri.
Yourself.
So we need to work together. That's the only way I see it, kan? So that's what keeps me going, to say, well, without all of this, without the air and without the trees, we will all die. Do you want a city like KL, or you want a city like Delhi yang paling?
Delhi.
You nak bangun pagi to Delhi. Remember when we got the haze?
Yes.
And after like 2-3 weeks of haze every day, it's so depressing. It's so demoralizing. You bangun pagi dah, first day, second day maybe kelakar sikit lah. Third day, fourth day dah start rimas actually. It's psychologically. And then I got so angry one morning. I tweeted the president of Indonesia. And I was so furious with him. What is this, you know? And I directed it exactly to him. I tulis. Masa tu I really bengang. And then what happened? 37,000 people retweeted it. So bukan I seorang yang bengang dengan haze, tapi so many people like, oh ya lah, mesti Presiden Jokowi mata terkejut apa ni? What's going on in the last 2 days? Kenapa orang Malaysia ni semua marah-marah ke I? But yeah, because sometimes it's our own health. It's for my own. I don't have children, but if I could be selfish and say, well, I don't have children. Why should I care?
Yes.
But I care even more than people who have children. So, but anyway, I do it because I care. Senang cerita.
I'm sure
We
Maya
have to.
pun pernah ajak rakan-rakan artis lain untuk together with you on this activities for green. Tapi maybe we also want to know lah, apa pandangan rakan-rakan artis lain towards the environment? Maybe ada yang tak nak join you, or what's your perspective?
Ada yang gelakkan you tak?
Ya. Sebab you dah cakap you dah kadang-kadang rasa tak nak dah continue. Maybe there's some points about
Well,
that juga.
gelakkan tak adalah because they know that. But it's hard to get their participation, or active participation. Adalah sekali-sekala turun padang, or ikut kutip sampah dari Sungai Kelang. Itu pun sebab kena paksa dengan producer.
Oh,
This is your job. You go now dengan Maya, you kutip sampai 3 jam. But it's, I know, I guess to find somebody on my level of commitment, adalah berapa. Daphne Eiking sometimes
Yes.
there's something, and
Hani Madu sekarang.
Hani Maju, okay. So yeah, it's just that they don't have this same momentum yet as I do. I started in 2006, a long time ago. I pergi dekat editor berita harian, minta tolong lah, can you please cover me? I nak buat this story, I nak buat that story. And masa tu Datuk Manja was very supportive. Dah start dah. So that's when it started. And then the Star Media, one of my first articles was Star newspaper. They were so fascinated this concept. I terkeluar, I don't know what, when during an interview that I go dengan pasar malam bawa beg sendiri. And they thought that was a phenomenal idea. Wow, you're so revolutionary. Can we do an article? Can we follow you to the pasar malam and you carry your bag? And then kita click, you letak carrot lah, you letak apple lah dalam bag. That's an amazing story. So for me, it was, really? Okay, boleh.
And nowadays, most people are doing that.
It's, yeah, I mean, a lot still walk there with their plastic bags, but a lot of people are starting to bring their own carrier bags, which is good, which is great.
Macam Cik you sendiri kan, I'm sure you have a lot of advocacy programs that you've gone through. Maybe you can share this one of the most exciting advocacy that you've gone through yang you rasa memang tak dapat dilupakan and want to share with us.
Interesting event. Something yang tak sangka.
This
menarik
is
ni.
huge kan.
Saya banyak attend events atau conferences, sama ada physical ataupun online. This week alone, saya attended 3 conferences. Contohnya UN Forward Faster, Asia and Oceania, Co-op Circular Economy and Climate Smart Malaysia. Yang nombor 3, the Carbon Market Exchange, Bursa Malaysia, hari Khamis online. Jadi attending event certainly the platforms kan untuk meet people, exchange new ideas. Tapi ada satu event yang saya tak boleh lupakan masa saya dah deliver sustainability training dengan satu small medium enterprises, kan. Masa tu dah dalam bilik tu ada about 30 orang, 25-30 orang, kan, management and senior leaders lah of that particular company. Jadi soalan pertama yang dia cakap belum start ni, kan, how do we make money, kan, from the sustainability. Jadi saya terkejut lah at the time, kan, sebab the money question is important, tapi there is more important variables dalam sustainability and climate change. Jadi not to disappoint the stakeholders, kan, so saya terpaksa cerita lah, kan, there's a lot of money to be made. For example, saya bagi tahu dia lah, berdasarkan Malaysia the National Energy Transition Roadmap, and Malaysia is expected to spend, kan, about 1.2 to 1.3 trillion ringgit for capital expenditure, for infrastructure, for plant, for technology, for people, and to drive the nations and from fossil fuel and kepada more renewable energy, and 70% to 30% by 2030. Jadi when he saw the money, he got interested. Yang kedua, when he asked money, it's not enough to say the numbers, but how to finance it. Kan? Sekarang bank macam-macam, kan, Maybank lah, kan, CIMB lah, they offer green financing or sustainability financing untuk business-business, sama ada corporation ke ataupun the small medium enterprises ke, untuk apply for the loan for their infrastructure, for their product and for their operation decarbonization and even for their value chain. So banyak opportunities. Jadi itu yang saya tak boleh lupakan sebab business like business, they always want to see what is the money, dollar sign for me. I cannot believe that because that is what business is.
Macam Maya, I believe kalau nak tanya soalan tadi, macam terlalu banyak lah benda-benda interesting yang Maya dah jumpa setakat ni. In fact yang setakat ni Maya share tadi pun very interesting to us lah kan. Cuma kalau kita cakap pasal advocacy ni, dekat peringkat antarabangsa, banyak orang bercakap tentang Greta Thunberg.
Tentang apa?
Greta Thunberg.
Oh, Greta Thunberg.
So macam mana seorang yang umur yang semuda macam tu boleh begitu keen bercakap mengenai alam sekitar. Macam kita kan dulu kalau umur dia tu kita masih main guli dekat rumah. Kan? So how do you think, apa yang menyebabkan Greta ni sebegitu vokal pada usia dia yang
Well,
muda?
obviously dia ada a totally different level of mindset to the general people of that age. And she has a different wired brain yang sangat, it's just different
Brilliant.
personality, you know, and it's just she can pick up things, she can learn things on a different level. And this is why we have IQ tests, you know, sometimes, because the majority is here. And then once in a while you have a Mozart, you have a Beethoven, once in a while you have a Greta Thunberg who like picks things up, and whatever you tell her when she was 10, if she spoke to you when you, whatever you said just now, if she was 10, she probably already understood 80%. Then most of the people, it's not, tak lah.
Tak faham.
So this is just, she has a special brain, that's it. And she has a special kind of fire in her yang dia rasa macam, I'm done with this, you know. So kalau I tak buat, then buat apa? Aku nak hidup lagi. La 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 la. But there's a certain fire, and I guess sometimes to achieve good things you have to have fire. I mean, you don't get a Nadal or a David Beckham without them having their own fire. You can't force them to train every day if it doesn't come from themselves.
Maya, like you mentioned tadi kan, kita ada another 6 years untuk 20-30. But then you mentioned that mungkin susah lah for that another 6 years tu. Tapi what do you expect in the next 50 years contohnya? If we start doing it now, apa legacy yang Maya rasa we should be leaving to the next generation? Maybe you can share with us, Maya?
Even that is going to come by so fast. Before you know it,
Yes.
do you remember when we turned 2000?
No, it was
Oh, you were not born yet?
I was born.
Oh.
Tapi it was
But
that
don't you feel
fast.
like macam
They are
baru-baru je?
working now. People who born in 2000 sekarang dah start kerja.
Yeah, exactly. Tapi for me, it feels like it was just a few years ago actually. Kadang-kadang I sendiri terkejut, it's already 2024. Takkan, tapi I'm still 28. Jadi tengok jap. So I want to be realistic. Realistically, in my mind, this is my personal opinion, we will not achieve what we want to achieve. Of course, it's good and we set this goal, but we will reach here. Okay lah. Because if you set this goal, then maybe we'll only reach here. Kan?
Kalau you set here, then you go there, down there lah.
So, I don't know. We'll try our best. Keep trying our best. Keep pushing.
Okay, Cik Yus, selain prominent figure macam Greta Thunberg tadi kan, boleh Cik Yus share any thought ataupun pembangunan atau pengurusan alam sekitar yang dekat luar sana, yang dekat luar negara yang Cik Yus rasa boleh dilaksanakan dekat sini based on your experience bekerja dekat luar sebelum ni?
I have two example. Satu, the Japan e-waste recycling program. Kan? Japan ni negara advance kan, salah satu kuasa ekonomi dunia. Ya. Jadi Japan pun banyak keluarkan electronics devices kan, komputer lah, jam lah kan. Jadi kat Japan tu kan, dia macam ada the whole suite of value chain tau, from the collection, from separation kan, separate kan the electronic, for example steel, logam-logam yang berharga, rare earth materials kan, ataupun steel contohlah kan. Lepas tu benda-benda yang berharga ni dia boleh recycle kembali kan, sebagai bahan mentah untuk buat benda yang sama, jam ke komputer ke. Jadi tak perlu dah buat banyak mining kan, ataupun production, sebab kita guna benda yang sama. Jadi itu sedikit sebanyak memberi kesan kepada carbon emission reduction for Japan. And yang keduanya Mazda City yang dekat Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates kan. So this city kalau tengok kan, is a lot of solar the energy, zero carbon emission, zero waste, dan materials yang dia buat
dengan berakhirnya jawapan Cik Yus tadi, itu adalah penghujung kepada segmen kita yang ketiga, dan kita move ke segmen seterusnya. Kita nak main sikit game dengan Maya and Cik Yus hari ni. We play game called this or that, ataupun dalam bahasa Melayu ini atau itu. Okay, we give you 2 options, just pilih mana satu, dan kalau I minta sebab, then you bagi sebab lah. Okay. I go first.
Boleh. Silakan.
So, casual or formal?
Casual.
Casual. Cik Yus?
Formal.
Formal. Okay.
Nampak.
Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
Cake.
Okay.
Klasik atau modern?
Classic.
Modern.
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 Yeah.
Okay, so EV or sports car?
EVs.
TV. EV or TV?
EV.
TV.
Electrical vehicle.
Oh,
EVs.
EV. Okay,
yep.
yeah,
Okay.
EV.
EV or sport car?
Yeah, EV.
EVs.
EV.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can have both actually.
Ya, sports car can EV tu, right? Barang baru ataupun antik?
Antique.
Antik.
Maya?
Okay lah. Barulah.
Okay. Masak kat rumah atau makan dekat luar?
Masak kat rumah.
Masak kat rumah. Maya?
Makan kat luar.
Makan dekat luar.
Yang penting kena catering. Betul tak? Tidur atau watch Netflix?
Tidur.
Tidur.
Oh, sama, saya pun tidur.
Instagram atau Facebook?
Instagram for sure. Facebook. Aduh.
Cik Yus?
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay. Healing dekat rumah atau dekat luar?
Healing.
Yep.
Kat
Healing
luar.
kat rumah.
Kat rumah.
Tepi pantai atau hutan?
Yang tu I cannot jawab.
Both interesting kan?
To
You
me,
cannot choose
to me hutan.
Hutan. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And last but not least, untuk use phone, you want to trade in or keep in?
Trade in or what?
Keep in. Simpan ataupun you nak trade.
Untuk
trade
apa
in.
tadi?
Kalau
Trade
use
in.
phone.
Use phone. Okay.
Trade in or keep in?
Trade in.
Trade in, Maya. Kalau
Yeah.
contoh you nak beli phone baru kan. So the phone lama tu, you trade in or you keep in?
I trade in.
Trade in. Good. Okay. So that's all.
Okay.
And we move to our next segment, something given. So tadi awal-awal tadi kita ada something green. And now something given. Dekat The Sastok ni kita pentingkan something untuk our guest berikan kepada kita, so that kita boleh gunakan semula ataupun untuk macam penonton kita fikirkan kembali. And the first one adalah kita nak minta you all bagi a quote ataupun life lesson yang boleh kita share dengan kita punya penonton.
One of the best life lessons that I have learned so far. We are collectively responsible for our planet. So whatever actions we take today akan shape our planet in the next 50 years, 100 years. Kan? Yang keduanya, the stay strong, kan? The continue the climate actions, kan? The just transitions, kan? And improve governance, kan? To create a better, not only the Malaysia but also the better world.
Maya?
Maybe your
Any life
favorite
lesson you
quote?
can share? Atau favorite quote?
Knowledge is king.
Knowledge is king. Okay.
I used to have a t-shirt masa teenager. I saw it in a jeans shop. I thought, power lah this. Knowledge is king with a crown. It's true.
Very short but powerful.
Knowledge is king. Alright. So thank you Cik Yus and thank you Maya, dan terima kasih banyak-banyak kepada semua penonton kita. Perkongsian yang sangat-sangat menarik yang dapat didengari oleh semua. Maksudnya kat sini walaupun kita hadir dari bidang berbeza, industri yang berbeza, macam Cik Yus dengan Maya bidang hiburan dan bidang corporate, tapi kita masih juga boleh duduk bersama untuk tujuan yang sama dalam misi menyelamatkan dunia. So lestari tu boleh datang daripada pelbagai sudut dan kita sendiri yang mencorakkannya.
Betul tu Sam. Dan untuk yang menonton podcast kita pada hari ini, The Sastok, kami harap anda ambil sebanyak boleh. Lakukan sekecil mana yang mampu, mulakan dari sekarang seperti mana yang Cik Yus dan Maya mention tadi, dan apa yang sudah kami kongsikan ini juga harapnya dapat dipraktikkan lah dan dimanfaatkan kepada semua. Dan terima kasih banyak kerana kekal jadikan podcast kami ini sebagai food for thought anda. Sayangi diri, sayangi bumi untuk masa depan yang lebih baik. Semoga podcast bersama Maya Karin dan Tuan Noor Yusazli hari ini memberi inspirasi untuk hidup lebih lestari dalam apa jua yang kita semua lakukan.
Dan sebelum kita akhiri episod kali ni, kita ada satu lagi benda yang kita tertinggal, Husna.
Lagi, Sam.
Kita nak something token yang kita boleh dapat daripada kita punya guest. Ada tak bring something for us?
Tadi tolong Susana boleh bawa tak? Oh, thank you.
Sana.
Okay, this is, you have to share lah, kongsi.
Oh.
What's this?
Dari mana Maya mungkin boleh share
Some
the
story?
history?
Yeah, it's a blue rose.
Ah.
Dia sangat rare. Dia boleh dijumpai hanya di hutan khatulistiwa dekat Brazil. Saya
Seriously?
petik sendiri. Cuba you Google, ada tak blue rose?
Blue rose, okay.
We thank you so much Maya for bringing in the blue rose for us. Dan mungkin Cik Yus juga.
Cik Yus?
Saya dah tak adalah bunga blue rose ke. Saya ada lanyard kan, yang tulis UNGC kan, 17 goal. So that when everybody see this lanyard kan, they can remember lah SDG 17 goals yeah. And so that we know the
So that you
nation is driving
Yes.
UNGC SDG 17 goal by 2030.
so no excuse to forget anymore.
Yeah.
All
Dah
the
kena
17.
remember Sam.
Yang ni dapat kat mana? Dubai? Alright. Thank you
Thank
Cik
you.
Yus, and thank you Maya, and kita harap sebelum kita akhiri kita punya podcast kali ni, kita minta semua viewers untuk yang masih belum subscribe saluran kita, dan so minta subscribe sekarang, komen anything yang you nak komen dekat bawah, dan share podcast kami ke media sosial anda, kepada friends and family, supaya you all dapat support kita untuk menghasilkan konten-konten yang baik yang macam ni yang dapat kita share supaya dapat benefit kepada semua orang.
Dan jangan lupa ikuti kami di Facebook, Instagram, X dan untuk kemas kini terkini, dan nantikan The Sus Talk dalam episod yang akan datang.
So sampai jumpa lagi. Bye.